All right, go ahead and Khaled, go ahead and you can get it started.
Where'd you run to? Where'd you run to? Acting right as so routine. A fever let me live a dream. I'm a slave to, no, misbehave to. Fever let misunderstood. Wouldn't leave it if I could. Fever.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Liquid Lounge. We have a very special AMA today. This is actually one that is in partnership with Vault Finance. So it's a partnership we created, and you're going to learn a little bit more about it and why. I want to preface, just like I do with every AMA, saying that what we speak about in here is not to be misconstrued as financial advice. We're not telling you what to do with your money. Anything we talk about is really opinion, but also just kind of factual basis, and just helping people understand and be a good first piece to your due diligence and in understanding projects and what value they bring to the marketplace. So with that, I would like to with that I'd like to welcome Coin Official. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having us, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Excited to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming over to our home and having this AMA with us. I know you guys are doing some really awesome stuff. We talked about a bunch of it yesterday, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. I think a good place to start is if you guys would like to introduce yourselves, your position, and maybe your background and what led Coin Official to come into existence.
Yeah, that's perfect. Awesome. So let me share our pitch deck here, and I'll explain, the team, and I guess first, obviously, who I am. My name's Logan. I'm a full-time data engineer. I used to design websites mainly for the front end for small market cap tokens. And then from that advisement and, assisting projects for the last 3 to 4 years, it really snowballed into something a lot greater where I started learning about tokenomics and started advising, helping manage projects from the back end, making sure they're doing things correctly. And one of my true passions is bringing more, transparency to the market, because through helping all these projects, you really start to see all the kind of cloak and daggers behind marketing. And that's, something you'll see throughout this pitch and what we're trying to fix. But let me introduce Faisal. He's not here today. He's one of our other developers. Kind of consider him our jack of all trades, right? He works on our smart contracts, ones that have been audited by Certec, Freshcoins, Contract Wolf, with just amazing grace through all of that. He's also done like Bitcoin mining operations, so definitely someone really good to have on the team. Brandon's our main developer. He has a bachelor's in computer science. He's been a smart contract developer for the past 3 years. And again, it's the same person that works on all of our contracts internally. So we're very lucky to have him on the team. Kind of consider him like the nerd of the herd, right? He really helps manage the whole backend system, making sure things are functioning correctly. I'll let Trey introduce himself, though.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Logan. So, my name's Trey. I've been in the crypto space since 2015. I am a software sales by trade, so SaaS sales. Been in the technology industry for quite a while. Ran technology sales for a $9 billion company, building my own book of business at a different company now, kind of running my own show, which is absolutely fantastic. Met these guys through crypto consulting. So, just like Logan, I started scheduling AMAs, 3 years ago for projects to make a quick buck. And then I started helping projects raise money, developing actual marketing plans. And then, again, kind of got with these guys. And from what I've seen a lot is a lot of people wasting money in marketing, right? With these token voting sites, Web2 platforms. But I see how profitable they are. So that's really where I got together with all these guys. And we were like, hey, why don't we develop a platform where we can bring a lot of revenue in for ourselves, but the project, if it's really profitable like our other competitors, we bring all of that revenue directly into buying pressure into our token as well. And then again, becoming more transparent for investors, project owners, influencers, lounges, and things like that. So really excited to be here and kind of explain the project to you guys. But I'll go ahead and let Logan, take it back from here.
Awesome, thank you. So everything here we're going to showcase, guys, is already completed. We've been working on this for the last year and a half. And not only do I want to talk about, the tools that we're creating for the space, but how that's going to relate to Vault Finance and actually to, Liquid Lounge being here today. I think there's a lot of integrations that can really help every party. So hopefully we'll kind of touch on that and you guys can start to see the real value behind what we're creating. From the influencer marketplace being a huge thing, staking pool creation tools for project owners, obviously a huge portion of our website being the huge on-chain voting so that people can actually start to see the real traction behind projects, among other things. So I already kind of talked about my frustrations with marketing, with crypto and DeFi in general, and how getting the name out for a project is incredibly difficult, especially in this market cap, our market as it currently is. So traditionally, when tokens are looking to market, they're looking at coin voting websites, or at least they used to, right? Before they really got really messy, full of click farms, bots, captcha farms, Web2 logins, right? Why are we still using emails and passwords to log into what's supposed to be these Web3 decentralized websites, right, for marketing projects? So what we've created is a voting system where you use one vote token for one vote on the platform. Everything is logged on the blockchain. So there's no more fake bots. There's no more fake votes. Everything is logged where you can actually start to see, who is voting on what's their ROI, are they finding the next hidden gem? And then you can compare yourself to those users and maybe start to, really work on your trading so that you can find the right projects at the right time and you're not getting stuck into like rug pulls and scams where a project with maybe one developer in a basement is giving Fresh Coins or CoinSniper $100. They're getting 10,000 votes, and they're just hurting the economy, right? Because new investors can only get burned so many times before they just leave the space. And so what we're really trying to do is help those people. I'm sure everyone here is kind of more of a veteran trader or has been around the space for a while. And, sometimes I try to talk to my friends about crypto and they say, I don't even want to hear it. I've been scammed too many times. I'm done with it, right? And so hopefully we can really clean up the space for tokens and then get those investors back into crypto because they're going to be able to see the true analytics behind, up and coming projects or even currently launched projects. At least that's the goal and kind of, some of the utility we're trying to bring to the space. But let me pass it off to Trey, and he's going to explain a lot of our services and then everything we're building onto the platform.
Yeah, before I do that real quick, because I don't want to mess with your flow, Chris, was there any questions so far, or do you just kind of want me to explain the project really fast and the whole point of the token and how we integrate in with things like Vault Finance, Liquid Lounge, and then kind of go from there?
Well, usually with our AMA here, we kind of have a little bit more of a harder one where we really put the screws to you and grill you. But I know you guys are wanting to get some exposure, so go ahead and go through it. And when we go through the question segment, we'll go ahead and flesh out some of those different.
Perfect. Then you can grill us, right?
Yeah, exactly. Then we'll put you on the grill.
All right. Good deal. Good deal. Well, crank it up. We want to get grilled. So basically, I'll kind of explain the whole platform for everyone so they really understand everything and then how we benefit everybody else in the ecosystem. So At the end of the day, you have to utilize our token to upvote projects, to list on the platform, to upvote influencers, and to upvote articles. And some of that stuff will make more sense here in just a few minutes. So at the end of the day, we're just trying to be transparent for everyone. You can go ahead and go to the next slide as well. So these are our main competitors: Watcher Guru, Fresh Coins, Coin Sniper, CoinMooner. These top four, really we have hundreds of competitors, hundreds of voting sites, but our top four competitors make on average the low end $5 million of revenue. We've tracked all their wallets. We know the market share. $5 million of revenue at the bare minimum. That's how much these guys are profiting right now in this bear market. So basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a platform where all of that revenue is buying pressure onto the token instead. Watcher Guru, Fresh Coins, Coin Sniper, CoinMooner, all these votes are botted anyway. All right. We understand that there's free votes, but they're all botted. They're all paid for. Average cost for a vote is 6 cents a vote. We did it. We purchased votes to make sure that's how this all operates. And that's exactly what happens here. These are all purchased votes. Our launch price will be 1 cent almost. So we're going to be 6 times cheaper to buy votes. On top of that, we're transparent. You can see how many people voted. It wasn't just one person that voted. And then we have different badges and rankings. So it's not just about the votes. It's also about everything else that we have in place. So can you go start with the token page, Logan, real quick? And then I'll drop to the influencer marketplace. So essentially, a project can come onto our platform. They list. It's 100 vote to list. That's buying pressure. And then they can also upvote their token even further to go trending, to gain more votes, more exposure. And again, that's all buying pressure onto the chart. Not to mention, directly here, they're going to be able to buy tokens. They can buy whatever projects listed here directly through Novation, PancakeSwap, Uniswap. They're going to be able to buy that all here. So hopefully we really want to expand that partnership with Novation, where as soon as they're listed on Novation, they come onto our platform for a little bit more exposure. Not to mention, any project can come onto here. They can create an automatic staking pool. So right from this token page, yet again, they can create a staking pool. Their community can get engaged, and they can see public sentiment. Then you're going to have your portfolio tracker. So if you buy anything, if you all through the platform, like if you buy a token through Novation, or you have a staking pool that you're invested in, you're going to be able to see it here in the portfolio tracker as well. More or less a sticky service to help really just benefit you and just kind of keep you on the platform so you don't have to go to a million different tabs to see everything. Then we also have our influencer marketplace. So we're a revenue-based company, right? So we don't have any team tokens. We want to make money and generate money in BNB and then do buyback and burns to, again, really benefit the token. We understand the bigger the token gets, the bigger we get. So we want a transparent marketplace where only we can list vetted influencers in lounges that are going to benefit projects like Liquid Lounge, for example. So Liquid Lounge has a business to run. They have people to pay. They need to charge for AMAs, obviously. Now, what we can do is we can give them a transparent experience where essentially a project owner can come onto the marketplace. They can purchase an AMA with Liquid Lounge or another influencer. The money gets sent to Liquid Lounge directly, and then we scrape a small commission off the top, and then we use part of that commission to buy back and burn our token. So again, we're a revenue-based company. We take out the middleman. There's nobody upcharging for these AMAs. There's nobody, you don't have to go through Telegram. I mean, there's a chance that you could talk to the wrong person. They could scam you as well. We remove all of that. I don't know, Chris, how much time you spend DMing in tons of groups for AMAs and stuff. Again, we remove some of that aspect. We take some pressure off the lounge. And on top of that, we generate income as well. And then again, it's an automated automated checkout process. It's simple. They just simply pay the BNB. They can scan the QR code. They can connect their wallet. Again, we generate revenue. We use that on the token as well. And again, if you're a project owner, you don't have to go through the hassle of sorting through Telegram, trying to find a marketer. It doesn't matter. You're going to be able to do it all on our website, and we're going to be able to have real analytics as well. Some of these marketers are charging thousands of dollars for an AMA. Maybe Liquid Lounge is a way better deal. We want to promote Liquid Lounge more than somebody who's not as good of a deal, if that makes sense. We also have our SEO presence. Everyone goes to, they spend thousands of dollars on, Yahoo Finance, Bazinga, all these other places. I remember a couple of years ago, I used to go to CMC for everything, or not CMC, Crypto Moonshots, right, on Reddit. It's all scams now. The difference here with our platform is we have a real place where people can publish crypto articles. We can generate revenue, and then you can also use our token to upvote these articles as well, and you can use it to upvote influencers. So we have real organic marketing here. It's permanent press releases about lounges, about crypto, about projects. You can come in here and actually educate yourself on projects. And then the last thing is our referral system. So anybody can come onto our platform and they can generate a referral code. So remember, you have to use our token to upvote projects. You're depositing them into the platform. If you refer a project and they use your referral code, you get 5% of all the tokens that are listed or that are used to upvote that project that you can sell, whatever. You can use them to vote up more projects. It doesn't matter, because we also burn 5% of that to offset the cost there if you decide to sell, which is completely fine. Unlimited commissions for anybody. Even lounges, this is a great way for lounges to make more money so they can grow. It's never free to grow, right? So lounges, if every single time they have an AMA with somebody, they can say, hey, go list on Coinofficial, get some exposure. They can use that referral code and generate more revenue for the lounge so the lounge can grow. Again, any marketer they can put in the work. They can talk to tons and tons and tons of projects, and they can get them all to list, and it's unlimited commission forever on each project. So I'll go ahead and let Logan take it from here, because I feel like I've rambled on enough about the services.
Yeah, thanks, Trey. And I know that's a lot of information, guys, but everything we're building here, again, and also to pair with Novation and what Vault Finance is doing, are questions we've been asked for years, as, people that have helped a lot of projects launch. And examples here is, ZA is one of our recent ones, a DeFi to gift card, basically bridge, where you can, exchange your crypto for gift cards in a decentralized manner in seconds. Like, that's awesome. And that's something that we built and worked on for the last year and a half also, working with Bosset and getting that completed. So just kind of a little showcase of, what our capabilities are of something we've actually completed and can share. Through this whole pitch, we're really targeting 3 different people to use this platform. We're targeting investors, project owners, and marketers. We want to give everyone a reason to use the site, because if they wouldn't use it and I wouldn't use it, then there's no reason that people would come back every day to continually use the site. As we're targeting all these different demographics, and each demographic brings the other 2 along with them. So we're very excited to launch all the protocols and systems we're building out. Here's just some stats really showcasing, again, some of our competitors we've talked about throughout this system. And again, all these websites are Web 2, right? They're Web 2 in a Web 3 world, and they're constantly being botted and captured. There's a lot of bribery on the back, and you see it all the time. Our pictures earlier showcased millions of votes. For small Telegram communities, and then past AMAs, we've actually pulled up the sites live. You can see the Telegram channel has maybe 50 to 100 people, and they have 50,000 votes. And it's just because they're paying for things on the back end and tricking new investors. They complete the rug pull and they move on and create a new token. So we can actually start to show the real data behind that and hopefully really clean up the space. That kind of really covers what we're doing. Our tokenomics have changed a little bit. One big thing here, and again, check out our white paper for the updated ones, as we did change over to a fair launch, but there's no team tokens. Coinofficial is purely revenue based. We don't want any money from the token itself at all in terms of like slowly selling or rug pulling the project. So everything we've allocated is for rewards, seed sale, private sale, seed sale, liquidity, and then we do have some tokens for holdback for a future exchange listing, depending maybe 6 months down the road, who knows. If we don't need it, we lock those tokens back up, right? And then treasury, of course, for marketing and development. Again, just being a small allocation of 10%, which is really nothing when you talk about, what token or what projects could hold in tokens. Allocations have changed a little bit differently. Just check out our pre-sale page for all of those. But to really just jump back and to kind of wrap up the conversation around what we're building, I remember no team tokens. Every time someone votes, 5% of those tokens are burned, being a deflationary project. We don't run on Ponzi-nomics, right? So as Trey already mentioned, when we're selling articles, promoted slots, when we're doing consultations, even development work, nothing that has to do anything really with Coinofficial or the token itself, we're getting that BNB in as a payment, and then we're using that BNB, buying back the token through the PancakeSwap router at market rate, and then burning those tokens, showing the transaction of the vote token so that the floor price will constantly increase. I've seen a lot of projects and helped a lot of projects who try to function on Ponzi-nomics. And again, it's just another personal pet peeve that, I know and you guys probably know that doesn't work. When we're looking at, new investors to fund old investors, it's just a system that doesn't make any sense. And that's why when we talk about our ecosystem, 70% of our raise all goes to LP. There's a 0% buy tax for the barrier to entry to be incredibly easy to do. And our sell tax is 10% LP for the first 7 days. And then after that, it drops 5% LP after that forever. Now, again, everything we're doing and creating here goes straight to the liquidity pool for the investors, not for us, not for the owners of the project or advisors. So hopefully that really, you guys can understand that and follow me with what we're trying to say there. But again, yeah, so just to kind of roll back to also to the token page and how this can integrate with Vault Finance. So, we've been talking to Chris, and what we're trying to do here is, instead of showing PancakeSwap, which obviously everyone's very familiar with, is we want to get, when tokens are listed on Novation, that they can actually start to see that tag there so that they can use that DEX, Chris's DEX and your guys' DEX, versus the PancakeSwap router, bringing greater exposure. So when people are looking at top voted tokens, they're just, looking for the next hidden gem, and they see something you guys have been upvoting and that's trending or whatever it may be or promoted. They're going to click on that token. They're going to, okay, I want to buy that token. And they're going to see, hey, it says Novation. What is that? And then we can have an article explaining what Novation is. They're going to click it. It's going to bring them to the Novation DEX. And that's going to integrate the whole system, bringing greater exposure, not only for that token and that project, but for Novation as a whole. And of course, we want to try to plan to do other things in the future, but that's at least step one in the grand scheme of things. But I think that's it for my rambling too. So maybe, Chris, if you want to turn up the heat and ask us any questions or any community questions, we're ready for it.
Okay, sure. Yeah, usually we, there's a couple of main things that I know some of the bigger investors in the room they look for. And so, we talked a little bit about you guys, your positions, backgrounds and stuff. Another thing is people also ask about, since you will have a token and things, incorporation, are you guys a formal business entity?
No, we're not a formal business entity right now. When we worked on ZA, we did do a KYB. But for right now, I don't think it makes sense, but maybe that's something we can definitely plan for in the future. Definitely open to it.
Okay. And, if you guys do one in the future, do you guys have an idea where you guys would incorporate out of, or, kind of where you guys are mainly based?
Yeah, well, we're based in the United States, but when we did ZA, we based it out of the UK, just for, I believe it was mostly for, maybe you can remind me, Trey, but it was it's called SEPA transfers, I believe, or SEFA. It basically allows you to transfer money really fast compared to a traditional wire, being 3 to 5 days, a business day, excuse me. But then, past projects we've worked with, we have the legal team, and they mostly advise, I want to say it's man, Trey, maybe you can help me out. I don't remember the countries. I kind of just listen to the lawyers and let them do what they're best at.
It just depends on the project. So I don't know exactly if there would be a benefit for us to be incorporated elsewhere other than the United States. Besides that, the United States just taxes the heck out of crypto. But besides that, I don't know if there would be an advantage for our project to be incorporated elsewhere. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that, without discussing with our legal team, that it'd probably be in the United States, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just usually throw that out there. There's some of our investors, they like investing in companies, and there's, I guess, for ones where it doesn't make sense right now, which I can see how that's a credible, that's a credible argument. I think in their mind, the follow-up question would be, okay, usually when you're a formal business entity, now you have fiduciary duty, you have liability, things like that, accountability to the country you're in. So if you guys don't have that formal, what type of things do you guys do to hold yourselves, accountable, and especially doing, fair launch and token and all of those things? What are some of the things that you guys are doing in place to kind of maintain that liability, that credibility, and also protect the token supply and everything you guys have going on?
Yeah, that's great. I think number one is just obviously morals, right? Before we even talk about legality and the law and what we are allowed and what we aren't allowed to do, just morally, a lot of our passion comes from bringing that transparency and being fair to investors. You'll see throughout obviously the whole pitch, everything we're doing, a lot of it goes straight back to the liquidity pool for investors. The token taxes are for the liquidity pool for investors. The referral code for investors and marketers. Everything goes back into really the economy for you guys. The team only makes money from selling their own services. But when we talk about, security, right, obviously we have Brandon and Faisal being our good devs. First thing is just being contracts, all being audited, right? Our last contract got audited by Certec. This time around, we went through Contract Wolf just because it's basically the same thing. So we already knew we're going to be super, there wasn't going to be anything to be found because it was already perfect through Certec. We are KYC through Assure Network, so of course you guys can hold us accountable, right? They will dox us the second we do anything fishy. So please, that is definitely something to help you guys. But I don't want to say like a project is a good secure investment just because someone KYCs or just because they dox. Obviously I think people kind of realize that now, but that was a very thorough process where it's a lot more than like, hey, jump on the blurry video, show me a blurry picture of your ID. It was basically a whole hour-long interview. They scan your ID, put you in a database, and go through this third-party integration. More security stuff. I'm trying to think of what else we have in there, too. Obviously, we've been vetted by anti-ruggers, again, being kind of a really good option, too, in this space. And, we've been around for years, so I think really the number one thing is our reputation is more valuable than anything else. We've been building this for a year and a half, and it would never make sense for us just to do something stupid to maybe make a few $1,000s or even a few tens of thousands of dollars when the potential, we've talked about the competitors, right? A lot of those guys make over $5 million a year. We would never want to throw that away for a short-term benefit, which it just wouldn't make sense.
All right. Well, very good. Yeah, and for our investors in here that are listening, these are the things that perk my ears up. When you do your due diligence on a company, and there's an investment opportunity here, so in a potential investment, you need to have a due diligence setup. Do you have questions written down? Do you have a set of check boxes of what's good and what's not good to you? Things like that. If you don't, and you just go by the pretty pictures, that could be a problem. So, some of the things that he mentioned that you should look at is, yes, KYC is a piece to it. That's not the whole puzzle, but that's a piece to the puzzle. The core team, what is their moral and ethical disposition? Are they moral and ethical people? Are they people that hold certain standards? Are they professionals? And things like that. So, these are all pieces to the whole puzzle that should be your due diligence. And so, he gave a couple little pearls right there regarding this company and Coin Official. So, always keep your ears open for those types of things, because those are the things where these questions are meant to flesh out. So that was very good. So another question that people are always going to ask is, and I want to make sure that we get across, is investors invest in the token. Obviously market capitalization, growing the value of the token, growing the value. How do they see return on their investment? I know you spoke about, you spoke a little bit on it, but can you create kind of a direct line from how an investor can make more money investing in your company?
Sure. I want to be very clear too. I want to be careful that I'm not one of those projects or people that come out here and say, hey guys, this is the next 100 times you need to invest right now for your future, right? Do your own research, look into our white paper, look into our website, everything is live. Now, I do feel incredibly bullish. Obviously, I'm biased. I've been building this for the last year and a half with the team, so take this with a grain of salt. But everything we've been doing is super deflationary. Just across the board, right? Think about all the buyback and burns from all the revenue. Some of our development packages are almost in, the six figures. It really depends on what we're building. And so taking 5% of that every time, through all the project owners and all the connections we're building, I mean, the percentage of the buyback and burns can be huge when we talk about the actual amount. Then, of course, every time someone's using our ecosystem, whether they're uploading an article, a token project, or even an influencer, 5% of those tokens are being burned out of the ecosystem. So over time, mathematically, we can start to look and see that floor price increase as tokens are removed and actually bought back at market rate. Another pet peeve of mine too is when projects launch and they say, hey, we're burning quote unquote 50% of the total supply on launch. I think people here realize or should realize that has no direct impact on the price. Sure, you're removing tokens from circulation, but they're not actually being bought back and burnt, which has no actual feasibility on the automated market maker tool or the AMM, being like PancakeSwap or Novation. So we really have built a system that's not rounded around Ponzi-nomics, which just doesn't make sense. Those projects die in 3 to 6 months. We're building something with a real business model and purely revenue based. The team only makes money from selling our own services, not from the token value itself. So hopefully that answers the question. Yeah,
onto that, Logan. So every single time somebody lists on the platform, every single time that they upvote their article, their project, remember they're using our token. That has to be bought. Even if they're on the platform, every single time that they do any of that stuff, upvoting anything. And again, I've shown you, I listed in the chat here, our tiers and ranks, right? For projects and for influencers. So everybody, if they want to, it's not just about the vote, right? That's a huge part of the ecosystem, but we're trying to be transparent for investors. If you're a serious project and you want that elite status, you have to purchase 50,000 votes. It's not a lot of money. It's a B&B maybe, you know what I mean? You have to have an audit, KYC, an AMA with Liquid Lounge or Coin Official. You have to have a strong team, a professional white paper, marketing plan. These are all things that are going to benefit investors, but also, again, they have to buy the vote. If they're not buying the vote, then they're not on the platform. Just from looking at CoinMoon or CoinSniper, these guys they're selling $1 million worth of votes, right? So just imagine if you're buying $1 million worth of votes, you could come onto a platform like Coin Official. It's more transparent. It's technically cheaper, and all of that buying pressure is going directly into the token.
All right. Right, perfect. I think eSwift had a question. I saw it pop up here somewhere. Let's see. Can you ask, are there any short white paper videos or YouTube channel instructional videos available to further help in explaining the project? There may be some investors who are more visual learners as opposed to others who are good with just reading a white paper.
100%. That's why we really try to make the pictures really pretty and everything super simple, especially with this pitch deck too. We have our intro video, which we shared over in the chat. It kind of just gives a quick lowdown of what we're creating, with some music and stuff like that. But one person we didn't mention earlier is actually Astronaut Labs. He's kind of more of a silent partner or a silent team member per se. He works with a lot of large companies like HP, Dell, and other Fortune 500 companies, making them promotional videos. So, we met him about 3 to 4 years ago on a past project. And he did a lot of their videos, marketing, videography, editing, and of course, everything like that, graphics, whatnot. And so he's actually helping us plan out a whole crypto series, based around, not just step guides, but almost like something where we can help target and teach people about crypto to a wider demographic. I mean, we love the traditional, 25-year-old male demographic in crypto, but we really want to reach out to other people, right? And that's where I think educational videos, looking at other platforms that aren't so crypto-centric, like TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, there's a lot of other places you can market crypto, and bringing those investors into the space, I think, would really benefit everyone. But also, we want to be careful that when we bring those investors into the space, that they know what they're getting into, that they know what they're investing in. And that's where, the Coin Official platform really tries to bring more transparency to the market. And then, of course, when tokens are being listed on the site, if they're on Novation, people can actually start to see what Novation's all about, and it links to that liquidity pool on your guys' side too.
All right, awesome. And then somebody just asked a question in the chat, which kind of gets into staking and things like that. Can you tell us what happens to the APR, APY, if a bear market comes along? So pretty much, is it affected? What does that look like? Is holding steady, or is it holding steady, or is the APR also dropping? And then it wants to know, what is Coin Official's plans to deal with panic selling, or things like that, where people might be dumping token or something along those lines.
Sure. Well, of course, it's DeFi, it's DeFi, right? I mean, we're not going to tell people what to do with their tokens or what they could do with their tokens. The seed sale is vested. Private sale only has a 13% discount, so we're very confident our early investors in our fair launch will be fairly safe. Pun not intended. But we talk about the staking pools, right? You talked about APR rewards. Now there's two different types, I guess. Coin Official is obviously going to provide our own staking pools with a set APR. That way we can at least monitor the reward structure and make sure we're not giving out too many tokens, but also making sure we're giving out enough tokens that people are actually interested in staking, obviously long term. But when new projects come to our website, right, they can see that staking pool, they list their token, super easy, 100 vote, maybe it's equivalent to $1 or $2. It's basically just a barrier to entry to stop scams from being posted all the time. And then once you get your token listed, you can go to create the staking pool. It takes maybe 30 seconds to a minute. You can set unlocked pools, 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, 180-day pools. And then that project owner can set their own APRs. Now, if they want to give out a ton of tokens, that's on them. Now, we're going to provide guides and examples to help, teach them about how to give out the right amount of tokens, because of course with any ecosystem you want more buy pressure than sell pressure. And now we're doing that with Coin Official token vote, but obviously if a project owner comes to our site, we're not going to sit there and dictate to them what they should or shouldn't do. We're going to give them examples and give them the education to do it the right way, but at the end of the day they have to want to follow that advice. Just like when we consult for projects, if I say, hey, you should probably not raise that tax to 25%, and then they just do it anyways, there's nothing I can do. I mean, we're just advisors, right, at that point. We're just trying to help them, but the project owner has to be, morally competent and, hopefully savvy enough to understand what they're doing. Hopefully that answers the question a little bit. I think there's still probably a little bit more in depth. If you want to maybe talk about trade, people selling off. Of course, we already talked about all of our partners, the deflationary measures. I think that kind of ties into the whole thing with the token price going up over time. Obviously, everyone here should know the first 24 hours of the launch is the craziest, but that's also why our seed sellers are vested too. So.
Yeah, not to mention our taxes. There's no buy tax. The only sell tax we have goes 100% to the liquidity. So if there is a huge sell-off, whatever. There's nothing that we can do about the huge sell-off. But at the end of the day, remember, the whole point of the platform is if projects are listing, then they're buying up the token. So I would have no doubt, even if we captured 10% of the market share for our top 4 competitors, we would see a nice steady incline in buying pressure, to the token. But obviously we can't guarantee price or anything like that, but we do have everything in place and the utility designed in order to increase buying pressure and to increase the price. But again, we can't guarantee anything like that.
Okay. All right, perfect. I'll open it up to anyone else. There we go. Ripper, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So just want to know, how was the team? Can you hear me? I'm audible.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was having network issues. So you just want to know, like, how has the experience and the background of the team been effective in the success of this project, and what makes you different from other projects?
Sure. I think I kind of understand the question. I think this kind of image and everything we're kind of explaining, it really differentiates us. You know, when we look at these old Web 2 platforms, they've been stagnant for a long time. I guess our closest comparison per se would be CoinMooner, right? They have a token. They say it's quote unquote constantly marketed. But really, the CoinMooner token is just used to purchase their own inside advertisements. The CoinMooner then say they discount the service maybe 25%. You pay in CoinMooner, then they just sell it. It's really a negative impact on the chart as they constantly are just selling that revenue. But we take all our revenue in BNB, so it's actually only having a positive effect on the chart as we buy our token versus selling it. So hopefully that kind of showcases the deflationary aspect of it. But of course, I mean, think about we're the first really blockchain centric place where people can actually vote on the blockchain. Every vote that's being used on our site for any token, influencer, or item or news page is all on the there's a transaction hash, right? You can prove it and you can see the actual log. But if I go to CoinSniper today and I see 100,000 votes on a project, I have no idea where those came from. I mean, obviously, again, we've already told you guys it's just bribery and click farms and stuff on the back end, right? They could just be changing numbers through a web portal. But now with our site, that's impossible to do. You can see the transaction hash every time. So that's where we're bringing true transparency to the market and what I think is something different.
Okay, and
Okay.
also, for technology such as yours to be able to achieve mass adoption, it needs to be the network needs to be highly scalable. So I just want to know, does your platform have enough capacity to handle large volumes of data transaction in a short period?
It's a little hard to hear you, but I believe you're asking if our platform can handle a large amount of users.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just built on AWS, right? AWS is scalable. We've coded our website in JavaScript and React. I mean, it's already fairly efficient, and we're just as we kind of wrap up development and getting the UI cleaned up, it's becoming faster and faster as we optimize all our images. So, if we're getting already off the bat, we have a partnership with Gympad, and of course, Vault Finance here too, or Novation. But that's right off the bat is about 150,000 views a month. Our AWS bill just keeps going up, but you guys shouldn't see any issues or any stagnation on your side as you load the site, stake, vote, or anything like that. And of course, a lot of those protocols are actually done on the blockchain too, so that should all be fine.
Oh, okay. Thanks for answering my question. Thanks for the good opportunity, guys. Great project, by the way.
All right. And that kind of leads right into the next question. Somebody was asking about partnerships. They said, what project do you want to collaborate or possibly make a partnership with in the near future? So is there any big, huge goal in mind?
I mean, we're super psyched about, Novation. I think that's going to be huge. I mean, you're the first project where we're actually implementing, real development work on the back end to showcase your DEX. So I think that's going to be huge for both of us. Again, really just bringing more power back to the people. In terms of partnership, I mean, exactly what I kind of heard today with you guys in Travelad, I think that's amazing. I think that's a very key play. But maybe Trey, if you have any other thoughts, that would be my biggest thing is really our goal is just to get our name out there more. And I think over time, our reputation is going to prove that, we're a safe bet to go with.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, the main factor that's going to cause us to grow is going to be our relationships with lounges, because every single time that they have an AMA, they're going to refer them, hey man, for just a couple dollars, it's worth it. You can go list on Coin Official. They're probably going to talk about you. You can get up to trending, throw some votes on there for a couple dollars. It's the relationships with the lounges. It's the referral system, right? Anybody that's in here that's a consultant or schedules AMAs, you can tell that client, go list on Coin Official, right? You get a commission. It's forever. It's 5% forever. Whatever amount of money that they put on there as upvotes, you get 5% of that into the token. You can sell it, whatever. Easy way for you to make money, unlimited commissions. That partnered with the SEO of the news press release. I mean, this is just the perfect storm for us to grow. And then getting eventually, right, like what Logan said, it's just going to take some time to really just build. But there's no like key partners at the moment that we're like really trying to, go after. The bigger the project, the better that lists on our platform at the end of the day. It hasn't seemed to be very difficult for us to get people to list, a quick DM, we show them the platform. They're like, all right, let's get on there. We spent an hour and a half yesterday, Logan. We got 8 people that want to list on the platform already, pre-buying tokens. I mean, it's a system that is proven to already work because people are not having any issues with, buying tokens in the fair launch because they want to upvote their project. Not to even mention, some of our lounges have bought tokens in the fair launch because they want to upvote their lounge as well.
All right. Let's see here. We've got Jude. Jude, go ahead.
Hello, Chris. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Good day, everyone. And it's been a very nice presentation. It's always nice to see a project who believe in what they are bringing into the space. It gives investors, the assurance of, the project itself. When a team is bullish on the project, and seeing from the way you guys are actually talking means that you guys are not going to back down, and it's really great. So basically I just had a question, and it's about when it comes to listening to the investors. So seeing that you are a coin listing site or so, I was wondering if you plan on integrating a sort of voting site for your community members, whereby if they have a suggestion or so, you could put that on the voting site, and they could as well pick go there and select and choose their own opinion. Sorry, and I don't know how you plan on integrating that, but it's just to get to know what the community also has in mind for the project itself.
Sorry, I had the answer in my head, but I lost it there for a second. I think you've asked that before, or maybe someone else has. We've been approached on taking basically our voting protocol and bringing it to other people's dApps and stuff like that. I think it's something we're interested in, possibly down the road, if I'm understanding the question, fully. I think the biggest thing though is we don't want to start outsourcing or, I guess giving away a lot of our bread and butter, right? Especially, during our launch, because we want people to use our site. And when people come to use the site for, reading news articles, for looking at token projects, buying influencer packages, creating staking pools, or even staking their own tokens, they're not just there for one thing. If someone comes to the site, they're going to look around, they're going to participate in other features of the site. And so if we allow voting to happen on other people's dApps or other systems, or, allow maybe custom web pages or URLs, we might start to lose that kind of ecosystem we are building that's so tight and close together. But maybe down the road, we can definitely explore it. I mean, one of our things we've talked about from another community member is a leaderboard system we're going to implement. So we're always listening to you guys, and those are some really cool ideas. And that's kind of where we want to build a system out to where you can track your friends and other top tier investors to see, what tokens are they voting on, what's their ROI, and maybe I should follow them and see what they're doing because obviously it's working. And that way we can kind of gamify the system, give out rewards to top people who vote and find the best projects. So just kind of really crowdsources the whole BSC space and other chains in general.
Great. So my last question, great answer. My last question is about when it comes to going cross chain. I was thinking, the Ethereum space is as well big and has a lot of big investors in it as well. So I was wondering, would you plan on going cross chain with the token as well as with the marketing itself?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something we have in the works, right? We want to launch on other EVMs, but of course we don't want to rush anything, right? Especially in this market condition right now. It's already hard enough to get the word out there compared to what it was last year. But as we grow, we definitely want to cross-chain the actual vote token itself. But if you look at the site, it's already cross-chain, right? We can already do Ethereum for most of the stuff, and then we are adding in EVMs too constantly, trying to get on like Polygon, Avalanche, And of course, we have BSC, ETH, and I believe I'm missing one just off the top of my head. And of course, we have Novation being a different DEX. So we also got to list DEXs on those different chains. So it's going to be a bit of work, but of course, we're going to constantly keep growing and really take the place, for the old Web2 voting platforms.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for the answers and thanks, Chris, for the opportunity. Great presentation from you guys today, and hoping to hop into the platform myself.
Awesome, thank you.
I do want to state too that we had here in the Liquid Lounge, we had Zonimus here. Maybe it was about a month ago, and if you guys remember that was a really great group over there, and you guys have been working with them as well too. So that's a good connection for our investors or potential investors to make as well too. That there is a connection between these two projects.
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of where we talked about, us consulting and helping projects. Sometimes it's just a simple 30-minute call. Hey, what should I do? We give them advice and they can obviously take it or leave it. And a case like Za, he came to us a year and a half ago with, a similar idea. And over that time, we basically helped him form the business plan, create the back end. We did all the development for that whole platform. And we're super happy with it. It's awesome. It's going really good. And I'm glad he was able to come over here and talk to you guys. And hopefully, again, as we, Zog gets a little bit older and ages and kind of, finds its base, we can start integrating tokens, like Vault Finance and stuff, where you can start exchanging that token for gift cards. Like, that's just awesome that you can liquidate without actually going through a centralized exchange. Because I'm sure people here are familiar with FTX, you have Celsius. Obviously, there's other issues coming out with other centralized exchanges too. So, anything we can do to really, help protect the space and help protect investors' money is something we're interested in for sure.
All right, perfect. Any other questions? Anyone else want to pose a question? Pose a hard one, a curveball. Come on, guys.
I wish we could get stumped, but man, everything that we're talking about today, I think just like you mentioned, you've done 100 AMAs, right? We've been over it so much, not just publicly, but internally, just, late night debates of, for example, we've get asked, like, should people be able to downvote? And ultimately we say no. But again, like it's very hard to stump us, I think, at this point, but I love the try. I hope you can.
Yeah, it's always good because that really, for me, is a little bit of a quick litmus test of telling how prepared a project is and how much strategy and debate and time they've put into it. Because if they've got, every project is going to have something you're going to come across something you never even thought could happen. That just happens to everybody in life. That's life. But you've got the people who are proactive and you got the people that are reactive, and the more proactive you are, the more prepared you are, the better postured you are for anything to come at you. So usually when you've got the answers to these questions and you've thought about them before and you're hard to stump, it's because you've put a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of thought into it. So
yeah, and I think a lot of work is almost an understatement. When we started this project a year and a half ago, the original idea was, hey, let's just get a coin voting website up. We hired a developer. We had it done in 2 days. It was the easiest thing in the world. I mean, CoinSniper is a very simple Web2 platform. You create an account, you click vote, it's done. But then we just kept thinking, like, this isn't right. We want to create something different, something new, and something more transparent. And that's really where, what you see today is actually our third iteration. And that's where we've actually built in all these different tools and dApps based on all the consults and projects we've helped in the past. So we really do hope it, is helpful to, not just investors, but the project owners, the influencers, so we can make the whole ecosystem like super easy for people to transact in a more safe, secure way. I know, Trey already mentioned it before, but, you guys taking AMAs and doing, releases and stuff like that and working with other projects, now you can just send them a link and say, hey, order here versus negotiating with me over Telegram for 3 hours. I mean, it's a huge time suck, especially when deals fall through. That can be just incredibly frustrating. I'm sure you probably get 10 times more messages than we do, and I feel like I get spammed all day. So hopefully it really helps you guys, but of course everyone else too.
Of course, definitely, and yeah, I have to get a ton of DMs on a daily basis. Everything from investors to non-investors to random questions to other project leads to people chilling and or wanting wanting to set things up over here, AMAs, whatever. So yeah, it's a lot, and then that definitely can help simplify it too.
I'm curious too, where do you find tokens, or maybe when you were more of an active investor, if you've kind of slowed down, what websites, or how did you find the next thing you want to invest in, or maybe the next partnership?
Usually for me, before Vault Finance, I was in every other investor's shoes where it's tough to get whitelist spots and you're running around in circles and you're trying to look for the projects you want to get involved with. And then when you find them, then you have to fist fight people for whitelist spots and stuff. So I didn't use the upvoting places too much. I mainly started to find people who were plugged into this neighborhood and got into groups with them and followed them around because they were in the know. They were always one of the first 50 that were into a new room that was being formed of a new token. And I started doing that. Once we formed Vault Finance, became a lot easier. Other projects are like, hey, does your core team, do you guys want some whitelist spots? You guys should invest in our token and stuff. And, there's nothing wrong with that. But for me personally, I'm the face that represents Vault Finance. So I don't do that. I don't partake in that because it's a conflict of interest in my opinion. But then we started being able to just have more and more exposure. But really, it's all, for me, it's just like business. So it's all about creating those connections and leads and stuff. So pretty much, the Liquid Lounge helps do that. It helps get me shoulder to shoulder with other AMA groups and to know who is starting to ramp up marketing and who's looking to be coming to market. Gives me the opportunity to, throw an arm around them and have a quick conversation with them, as well as just the way we've structured Vault Finance and the success and the success that's going to come from it. It's really given us the opportunity to bring in some major ambassadors who have our name in their mouth all the time. And so as they come across projects, they create those connections for us. So now it's really reached a point where I get bombarded from a bunch of different people about the same projects that are just now coming. So it really has created a real good setup for us. And so that's how I usually do it. But, there's always been a problem. I've always had a problem with the coin upvotes and things like that because they could be bought. And I didn't like that. And so that's what I like about what you guys are doing. And that's why I will form a partnership with you guys and put Novation and Vault Finance's name to it, where I won't do that with any other of these upvote people because you guys hold that standard.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That was super interesting too. I mean, I think for sure you guys running Liquid Lounge is a really good filter for finding those next gems and bringing them over to Novation. I can already see a lot of your guys' races on that site are the DApp have just been really good so far. So the sky's the limit. So that's awesome. And I think that's something that, you guys have the tool, and obviously people that follow the Liquid Lounge can kind of see that same filter and see those next projects. But, when I got into crypto, I was looking at, crypto moonshots, and everything was word of mouth. But obviously, the last year or two has changed so much that you can't really trust those sites anymore. They're just filled with spam and bots, and it just sucks because it's like, well, where do I go now to find real data? Everything is just being shilled and paid for. So hopefully, again, we can kind of tie everything together and really kind of clean up the space. I'm kind of curious too, because you guys launched on BSC, at least the Vol token itself. I guess, what was your thoughts behind that? Or is there any, big frustrations you see in the BSC space that could maybe be cleaned up, or what would you like changed?
Oh yeah, I mean, I could write a few books on frustrations in this space. It was really our call to action to form Vault Finance. In general, generally speaking, and not saying any specific businesses, this arena is unprofessional. It lacks creativity. A lot of people do not create innovation, and it is zero amount of transparency. And so, but it is, Binance Chain, in my opinion, is a really great chain. I would not be surprised if it starts to take over. Even it's grown so fast, so quick, and you can't beat the gas fees. The gas fees are not bad at all. So, for us, it was a perfect environment as far as the chain goes. But unfortunately, the neighborhood we moved into has problems. And unfortunately, the investors are every man for themselves and having to deal with those problems. And so when we came in, one of two things: either we come in fist fighting and join in the whole little thing, or what we chose to do, which was to try to lead by example and try to show people the difference between a company and a project, and so that they can see and make choices and decide what is investable and what isn't. And this space gives me a platform and an opportunity, and Twitter gives me a platform and an opportunity to share some of that experience and nuggets of information that I have acquired. And people can take it or leave it. It's no big deal to me. But if somebody gets a better opportunity to make a better decision that saves them money or makes them money, then that's a win. And I think as more solid projects come up, as we start to work together, being solid groups in our own little area, like you guys with the voting and staking and influencer marketplace, and us with the DEX and the launch pad, and those are somewhat complementary pieces. They can fit together hand in glove. And so people of character doing business with other people of character, if we link enough of these people together, we can create an ecosystem that's worthwhile, that shuns out the bad, keeps in the good, and investors know that when they're in that circle, there's safety there. It's investing, so you can't guarantee 100% safety all the time, but at least that you're not going to get stabbed in the back. And so, those are kind of, that's really what our mission is. Obviously we're all here to make money, so the mission is to make money, but to increase safety and leave this space better than how we found it, that's very important to us.
No, 100%. That's great. That's really interesting. It's interesting you touch on that too, because when we started this, we thought, hey, let's make a launch pad. And we started talking to GemPad, and obviously talked to you too. And we really want to make sure that we're not biting off more than we can chew. We're really good at one thing here, right? The voting. And maybe one day we can explore other options. Of course, you've nailed it. You guys are really good at building a launch pad. You're really good at building a DEX. And so you probably wouldn't want to do voting, but we can do voting really good because our full attention is on it, and your guys' full attention is on the DEX and obviously your own launch pad. So I think that's a great complementary tool, and hopefully we can benefit each other, because I wouldn't want your job and you probably don't want my job.
Well, and then, as a business, you know, we raised funds, and so I have a fiduciary duty to do the best thing in line with the business with those funds. And so it's not in my best interest to make a coin, upvote or a platform like yours, because why would I do that, waste the time and the money, investor money, and then try to fist fight you for nickels and dimes in the dirt? You know what I mean? It's not efficient in any way, when I could actually, throw an arm around you. We could form a partnership, and I could say, you know what, you guys are our guys for this segment right here. And that way I spend no money. We get that synergistic working together. And then I can spend our dev time and our investor money on other things that can be profitable, where we can gain more space. And that way we don't bump heads. And so, you'll find that a lot of our partnerships are not with people we would bump heads with. They're with complementary pieces to what we're doing. They have to make sense as a team. They have to make sense as a business to be something that we work hand in hand with. So, and you guys are one of those pieces that hasn't come up before. And it's a great opportunity for us, of course. And I think it's a great opportunity for you guys. And so those are the type of relationships and partnerships you want to have, because if they're one-sided, it works just like a relationship at home. One-sided relationships, they don't work. So we both bring something to the table, and ultimately the investors get to get that value out of it. And that's what I'm all about.
I couldn't have said it better myself. No, 100%, I agree. Well, that's awesome. I really don't want to take up too much of your time. I mean, is there anything else we can maybe answer or help elaborate on, or just assist with across the board?
Well, I do want to be respectful of everybody's time here on a Sunday, and you guys as well too. I haven't seen any other big questions come up, but I will say, you guys do your due diligence, take a closer look at these guys, go back and listen to this recording, learn as much as you can. Obviously, I see value in it. Vault Finance as a company sees value in it. We formed that partnership for a reason. So definitely that's not your cue to just, come running through the door, but do your due diligence, do your workup, and take a look at it yourself, and see if it makes sense. Because these guys are right now in the middle of it's a pre-sale, correct?
Yeah, pre-sale, then I guess the subcategory would be fair launch, just being the type of how it's structured. But yeah, guys, if you're interested, join the chat, ask questions. We do sneak previews. We do our own internal AMAs. We ask questions. We're always in the chat, of course, answering any questions or anything that comes up, just to help, showcase everything we're building. I hope everyone gets the feeling that we are super transparent and that everything we're creating is actually really good for the space. You guys can actually go see the site live right now, coinofficial.io. We're not promising things to be built a year down the road. Almost everything I've mentioned today, besides the leaderboard system, is I think the only thing that's not going to be completed on launch. And then we have thoughts for NFTs down the road too, but we want to make sure that we focus on what we're good at first before we get ahead of ourselves. Of course, just keeping that pressure up and keeping the marketing going. So definitely take a look. We're also doing a huge holder contest. So if you buy into the pre-sale and then you hold your tokens for a week, and you can earn up to $1,000 a vote. So take a look. It's in our pinned messages. And if you guys are interested, that might be something you'd like, of course, assuming you've looked into the project and understand what we're doing and you think it's a good investment.
Okay, well, perfect, guys. Just reiterate what he says. Join across their socials. Get involved, do your due diligence, ask questions, always ask questions. These guys love tough questions. So, hey, ask them tough questions. They won't charge you for them. They come free with answers. So, do all of that. And definitely, you guys, I appreciate you all coming in, sharing your project with us, the ins and outs, answering questions for us. I'll get you guys the recording as soon as possible. And again, thanks for sharing Sunday with us.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Chris. Appreciate it. Appreciate everyone's time here too for tuning in until the very end. I know it's a lot to cover. And I'm sure we'll be in touch very soon as we kind of talk about the development and everything for Vault Finance and for Novation. So we're super psyched. We're looking forward to it, and you guys will definitely be seeing us around more. So it'll be great.
All right, awesome. All right, everybody. Well, we'll go ahead and close it up, and everybody take care. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you around soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.